That we are on the upper left, though. The odds-on favorite, the man who rattled off 24 series in a row before finally getting stopped by his opponent in the blue. It's Clem.
And in the bottom right-hand side, who they say they gonna beat Lil Wayne, who makes an extractor with a drone with minerals on it, is just a cancel. It is Wayne. Young Money.
Well, this is a way to beat Clem, maybe. We got Wayne here taking a page out of Serral's book, probably. So there has been a lot of meta shifts in TVZ over the last 4 months, right? You have the 2 racks opener with the Reapers. Beyond was originally doing all sorts of things where he's going to 6 Reapers, going to 9, going to 3, going for 4 racks, timing off that, taking the natural, like all this stuff. And it's pretty settled down, right? It's 2 racks, you get 3 Reapers, you put some pressure on it, it's solid. But we have started to see some Zergs react to it. I think actually it was Solar who started doing this, where you go 15 hatch, 15 pool, gas cancel on both, then start to macro up behind that. But Serral took it one step further in actually Masters Coliseum, not Gamers 8, but the tournament after that. He didn't get to use these builds in Gamers 8, where he's going early roach. He's going like 2 base type of builds, taking a delayed third, and then the most extreme example of it, having ultras on the map by 820 because he's played so defensively and just smashing Maru in that series, in that game. But this is just the opener, right? This gives you queens a little faster, gives you lings a little bit faster against these couple Reapers early on. Cats, I put this question to you. How deep down the rabbit hole of Serral's new builds does Wayne go?
I mean, like, talking about those builds in particular, then they're definitely a little bit more on the aggressive side, so I could see something like that. I think of Wayne as the type of player that does excel with units like roaches, is very timing attack oriented, very mid-game focused. And that is where, on paper, he doesn't match up terribly against Clem, because Clem can also be overly aggressive and fight for, you know, the early and mid-game. So usually when a Zerg is doing that, and with roaches in particular, like the Terran can falter, but it hasn't been much the case in this particular matchup. 4 links are going to be waiting for the first jump of the Reapers up the cliff, which is a really nice defense there for Wayne to start. A drone a little bit exposed, but quick reaction as well to readjust. And Clem not finding too much here in this early game.
Yeah, here's the question though, right? Because Wayne is still on 2 base. He didn't try to sneak his drone out to the left side and take the third. He's waiting until speed, and actually, he's not even getting speed. The first 100 gas went to lair. What is...
Wild.
There's no way this is 2-base Muta, right?
I mean, I wouldn't say no way, but I'd say it's still unlikely. I would like to see a Roach Warren in the next couple of seconds, and then we would confirm basically that it's Roach speed and some sort of 2-base timing. But I mean, the longer it doesn't happen, I said in the next couple of seconds, it's already been like 5, 6, 7. So now it's looking like more and more likely that it could be Muta indeed.
Yeah, the one trick though is that it's only 3 gases, not 4.
Oh, Infestors? What about Infestors?
I mean, that'd be cool. I think you might be huffing a little bit too much of something there, Cats. But
unless
they have been buffed. You know,
unless
they're good against Cyclones.
Zoom into the infestation pit. It's happening. Nah, there's another gas, probably Muta.
Ah, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, Spire.
Well, we can zoom in on that. Here's the fire.
Boo, boo.
You had me, Cass. You had me doubting the truth of my eyes. You had me like, wait, is there an infestation pit going down? Like, can I not read the production tab? But no.
Nah, I was just scoping. I mean, the infestation pit I think makes a lot more sense than before, especially if you're expecting something like a 3 racks follow up or something like that, which is hasn't been too uncommon of this sort of opening. 2 Cyclones are trying to do a little bit of damage. Clem's control is just out of this world, right? Like, there's this game called Star Auction that we play sometimes. Like Pili likes to play it with his stream viewers, and time and again, like whenever I invite like pro players to try to play with us, they end up loving that game because it's so micro focused. But Clem, I mean, he won the last 3 times we played. He's actually insane at micro, obviously. But Wade actually getting a really nice catch here into one of the Cyclones. Commits for the second one. Not sure if that's the right call, but gets the full surround before the Helios can deal with those links. So Wayne with a pretty nice defense there, and the Spire is nearly completed as well. This was not too heavy on bio follow-up, so Wayne, I mean, He could have a timing here with a Muta.
I mean,
6 on the way.
You say that, Cats. I'm a little worried here for Wayne right now because this is, yeah, there's a third base, but Stim is done. Medivacs are on the map here. Clem is running onto the other side with this. And this is where a 2-base Muta type of build gets really scary. When your Mutas pop pretty much as the bio is hitting the field, it gets rough. It's hard. You don't have banelings on the ground. You don't have a ton to defend this first bit of marine pressure. So
Muta gets spotted.
Muta gets spotted, yeah.
But the other thing is, if the Muta do pull back to defend, which they should at this point, if it is a successful defense, you can actually crush this because you get the medevacs as well, whereas normally you don't get the medevacs, right? So Clem is the one that has to be pretty careful here. Wayne identifies that and now goes back out on the map with the Muta. As soon as he thinks, okay, Clem is gonna be think wisely about this and gonna, you know, stop himself from moving forward. Actually, he finds one of the medevacs before and it unloads, and that is a fantastic catch for Wayne. As not all the Marines are participating, the Mutas are gonna shred this. It looks very, very good. Clem's gonna evacuate whatever he can to the rest of his reinforcements, but the Muta are already on top of the Marines. No micro on the Muta at the moment, but it's not necessary as all of the Marines have fallen. Combat shields is now being targeted down as it gets stopped from Wayne. Beautiful move there with the Overseer to make sure that it doesn't complete, and the Muta actually have the time to finish it off. And finish it off they will. Now they go after the Hellions, and Wayne is continuing to find excellent damage here. The third is exposed. Not sure that he wants to go for that. This is kind of all-in-y. 2 more Muta on the way, and this is likely to be breached. The Hellions try to do what they can against the Lynx, but the Muta dive right on top, and Clement the Punch is gonna have to tap out Wayne, who they say they're gonna beat. Not Clem.
That actually, I hadn't thought about this. That is, the punish there is so smart from Wayne. Not only does he run across the map and make things happen, that's great. The Terran production is in the natural. We saw that there were like 2 Marines on the map at the very, 3 Marines on the map at the very end. It is, when you have that 2 barracks setup, it is so much easier to dive on top of the Terran production, to prevent Marines from, to kill them as they spawn, that instead of having to run in the main base, and, you know, Clem would have had that defensive position where he's got the wall and he can pull Marines in the main and come down. He didn't have that opportunity because he went for that aggressive option. That's just such a brilliant move from Wayne right there. Like, well, you know what? Aligulac gave him 6% or something, but he's kind of proving that, yeah, sure, he lost 24 times in a row, but that last victory, the 2-1 in the round of 8 of the ESL Open Cup recently, that wasn't a fluke.
Well, we'll see about that. Yet to be known for certain whether that could be considered a fluke or not. But now the win percentage has been updated. 30% chance that Wayne wins this series according to Aligulac now. So it's been adjusted. It's been adjusted after the score. This is definitely doable. I really loved what he did. Again, like the Muta can seem really like, obviously, like they don't trade well with Marines, but what trades well with Marines is the Zerglings and the Queens on defense. What they usually do is that they force, so the problem is when you engage a clump of Marines of like 16 Marines, you engage with all of your Zerglings, you're gonna lose a bunch of those Zerglings before doing actual damage and starting to kill any Marines. And all of that damage while you approach the Marines and while you get the surround is free for the Terran, and then you can just lift up and get away with the medevacs. But when there's Muta out, you can't do that. And usually what happens is you can clear that army and then go to the other side of the map with your Muta link and close it out. This time, Clem was smarter than that. He sees the Muta, he says, okay, that could happen, I'm not gonna let that happen, and flies back. But then Wayne somehow identifies that the medevacs are not unloaded, and that was really the breaking point. If those 16 Marines are on the ground, then Wayne has no way to approach. But when they're trickling out of medevacs one at a time, he identifies that and pounces on top of everything and manages to break a Clem despite not cleaning him up on his side of the map. Manages to do that on Clem's own side. So beautiful move from Wayne indeed, and gets himself a nice advantage in this series. Let's see if he can close it out. In the bottom left-hand side, young money is Wayne.
In the upper right, though, in the blue, not likely to get caught off guard by that twice in a row now. For Team Liquid, it's Clem.
What a beast. I mean, he has to bring it back if he wants to keep the undefeated dream alive. It's usually only Clem, Raynor, and Serral that stand a solid shot at going undefeated through the group stages, through the round robin this time around.
Yeah, I mean, Wayne should have 3-0'd
Or the Swiss.
the Swiss last season. He was up one. You and I cast that series actually. He was up 1-0 on Serral and really should have beaten him in game 2. And then Serral had that incredible comeback. He wins game 3. Realistic, like Wayne does not get enough credit in this last year. He has been looking so incredibly good when the games matter. EPT Cups, whatever. I mean, clearly, you know, 24 times in a row against Clem is not great, losing that. But when the games start to matter, we're seeing him. He is really starting to come into his own. He took a map off Serral this morning. He's coming and firing.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, yeah, as someone in the chat pointed out, they say Wayne's a good player, comma, not just Clem, but just not Clem's level, parentheses, supposedly. I really like that. It's like 3 twists in one sentence.
Yeah, well, I feel like I'm on a roller coaster. I went up and I went down. I went sideways and I spun around.
I agree with that assessment. Yeah, for sure.
Interesting thing in this game is that Wayne is not going for the 15-15. That what actually people call the Eric build, where you go and you get 15 hatch or 15 hatch, 15 pool, gas cancel. But also, this seems like maybe we're just not seeing as much of that build on Hecate. And in fairness, this is a wide open natural, so maybe a little harder to go for the double barracks wall. So Clem, this is a Reaper expand from the man. In this game, he's not going particularly aggressive. He's not going to get 3 Reapers. He's not going to get 6. This is, when I think of Clem, there's a nice catch there on the Ling. When I think of Clem, I think of this. Reaper expand into Hellion Banshee, into quick third base, and just killing you with mid-game aggression in a way that many Terrans, they can't pull off. So now that he's trying to do something maybe a little bit fancier, it hasn't worked. Going back to old standby. Again, this is the Clem that has won 5 ESL Masters, 5 ESL Regionals.
For sure. He's a little bit of a beast. I really like the dance there for the Creep Tumor as well. Wayne drops it in a relatively kind of tucked in position, but Clem is still looking actively with his Reaper. So Wayne knows that, has to sacrifice an extra Ling, and then Clem throws a grenade that's more or less perfect to bounce the Queen back, to give him room to go for the Creep Tumor snipe anyway. But Wayne moves the Queen forward so that it bounces it forward towards the Reaper, and then that move becomes impossible. However, this one is going to be a little bit easier. What? Oh, misses! One of the shots, very uncharacteristic from Clem. That Creep Tumor should have gone down. Instead, it's the Reaper who will pay with his life.
Yeah, well, generally, it's the Reapers that are supposed to be doing the reaping, especially around Halloween time, but not this time. Death go away. Find me again another day, but look at this here. Proxy Liberator with Hellions thinking about diving in. Generally, when you it's like, this is for a proxy medevac. You're going for a weird drop, but just proxying Liberators across
Oh, that's bad still.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage, and because you're going to try to pair this up.
Exactly.
Now, is there already a Liberator? Am I missing a Liberator? I don't see one. So I guess an Overlord on the other side of the map went down. That supply blocked Wayne for a time. This Liberator just about done. We don't have Spores. 420 in. If Wayne's going to get him, he's going to get him in like the next 10 seconds or so. And this pressure from Clem, with the Liberators, with the Hellions, with the Cyclones, that's a lot on the map. It's going to be hard for Wayne to fight.
Just send that Hellion all the way back. Like, it's gonna die in one shot anyway. Does make the Queens at the front, does make the Queens stand at the front, and does open up a little bit of room for the Liberator. That one Hellion is gonna get targeted down right away, as it should, but the Cyclones are doing great job here against the Queens. They do get pushed down the ramp, so that's going to be the stop for it for now. One Queen is going to get in position here to kind of like fend off the Liberator in the macro. Really nice job there by Wayne on the multitasking, but does he have enough at the front? It doesn't seem likely. Those Lings need to kill the Cyclones. Those are the ones that are kind of threatening the Queens, and one of them will survive with near no HP. So Clem should probably go back and repair his army. But all in all, that wasn't too bad. And apparently there was enough of a reposition on this Liberator to kill the Queen that was looking to focus it down. So we missed that, but so did Wayne. And yeah, like, very nice job from Clem on the multitasking as well, as is expected of the 5-time champ.
This is where it gets scary, right? When you don't have 100% of your eyes, your APM able to focus on those Cyclones, they can really... I'm actually really surprised they only got one Queen, because it looked like a couple more were about to go down. So just Clem taxing Wayne's multitasking, making it really hard for him to do exactly what he wants to do. Is this Liberator's just going to sit here? Clem might decide to do something with it eventually, but for right now, it's just scary. It's something that Wayne is going to just have to keep in the back of his mind. Now, Wayne behind this again. Spire going down. He's got a Roach Warren. Speed is done. Well, no, he canceled Roach Speed. Okay, Banley Nest on the way behind this. The Roaches, you talked about it in maybe the last game. No, in the Hearthstone series. But yeah, in this case, Roaches are just transitory. They're to get Wayne safely into the mid game, making so that the Cyclone Hellion type of pressure doesn't do too much. And let's see. I'm really curious to see how these mutas are going to work out. In game 1, it was a very quick victory. It was just snowballing across the map. Sometimes that happened. I don't think that's going to happen for Wayne in game 2. I don't think that, especially just how things are going. This is a nice little surround here, potential on the Cyclones, on the Hellions. What if they just run through the middle?
That's what I'm saying. Okay, now here comes the rest of the links from Wayne. So very nice job. And he's going to clear this out easily. On the other side, there's a medevac loaded up, but already Muta on the way, like you were mentioning. And I mean, this gets dangerous for Clem. I kind of like Wayne's position right now for a 2-0. I would say this game, 60% in favor of Wayne is what I would say.
He has lost a lot of queens, so he can't really spread the creep he would like. He's got 3 queens right now, which is not even enough to inject the fourth base necessarily. And this fourth base, I think it gets canceled. The bio's going to stim on. There's no creep right here. It's going to be close. Lings are going to get on top. Clem thinking about sticking on. Oh, it's the kill. Not even the cancel, but maybe he can. Oh, he can't. With too many rocks on the way, he can't chase this down. Too many Marines right now. Well, Mutas have to run away. Lings now trying to chase this down. Cats, there's a tank there on the high ground. Wayne trying to do it again, getting on top of things. This time, the Marine count's a little bit higher. The Mutas have to run away. Tank will fall, though. It's not.
Oh, the Ravagers.
Oh, no, that hurts.
Those are expensive, too.
That's 200. That's 300 gas going down right now. This is not the move that Wayne was looking for. It's not game 1.
It looked so good for a second. Yeah, it looked very, very good for a second. I mean, on both fronts, losing the hatchery was very unfortunate for Wayne. If he could have landed or tried to get his Ravagers in position just 1 second earlier and throw down a bio, that's all that he needed to make the Marines disengage and load back in the medevacs, right? Because if that lands, you lose all of your Marines, then maybe you end up getting the hatchery or the cancel, but losing those units would have, I mean, imagine those Marines aren't there in this last fight, right? Like it could have been game ending. But as it stands, I mean, Wayne loses a lot of the advantages that he had been accruing through this very beautiful early game, yet still the Muta are early enough that they're catching Clem somewhat off guard, despite already having been shown in the first engagement. He is now building turrets and trying to secure his territory and his 3 base as the supply is dead even.
Yeah, so 4th base now just about. I would love to see Wayne double expand at this point. Yeah, you lost the 4th base, you're slowed down, especially as you're playing Lingbane. Especially as so many of these queens have been sniped. There's only 4 on the map. It's 1 creep queen, 3 inject queens. This is a very larva intensive army, Cats. I'd like to see maybe, yes, mutas are more expensive, but get the 5th base, take a hatch in the main or something, just because this queen count is so small that reinforcements are not going to be the easiest thing for Wayne right now. And because he's lost so many queens, look at the creep spread. You have this map control on playing on this Mutiling Bane. It's not incredible. He's going to try to dive on top. Once again, the tank siege is slow. Bailey's trying to get on top here. The tanks, now they siege up. It's not good for Wayne. That was horrible. 1-1 was done in 10 seconds. You talk about an anti-timing here. How does Wayne hold on now? He's got no Banes. 7 on the way. They're not here yet.
Yeah, they're not here. A lot of creep will get taken down. Like you said, the queens are a resource that he doesn't really have in spades, and 2 more of them are gonna fall down. A couple of Banelings looking for those connections, but it's Clem we're talking about, so they will barely connect with anything. And now the Marines are mostly uncontested. These Banelings have a dream that they're never gonna get to accomplish, and Wayne will have to tap out as the 5-time champ equalizes the series.
Yeah, unfortunately there for Clem, or for Wayne a little bit. So not only did he lose the 4th, and he also ran into the situation where he was trying to play Mutiling Bane into an 8 racks, which if you do not take the perfect fights, if you do not go in and curb the momentum almost completely on the 8 racks every single time, there are going to be so many Marines popping out that it becomes very, very hard to fight with that heavy gas commitment onto the Mutas on top of the Lings, on top of the Banes. There's a reason that we see a lot of these 8 racks defenses. It's 5 or 6 hatch Ling Bane by itself. So Clem, he punches through. Okay, fine. Wayne took a couple fights that he probably shouldn't have. But Now we move on to game 3 and the second least common map in the pool that's been played thus far in this tournament. It's going to be Golden Aura. It's going to be, moving on.
Love to see it. Love to see it. I mean, it's a beautiful, again, another map that, as far as like aesthetics, view, like the view of it, like it looks really nice, right? Like with all the pools of water and whatnot. But otherwise, one of the more standard maps that we have as far as setup, as far as layout.
Yeah. All the important thing here, Cats, is that we got all the water on it. Clearly, this is a map that you can make space cement on, or concrete.
True.
Space concrete, whatever it is. 6 one way, half dozen the other. Hauling back to earlier today, you can make space concrete on Golden Aura. There's enough water on the map. It's okay.
Yeah, and if you're Wayne, you can cement yourself as a top European Zerg, perhaps. If you can take the map of Clem here, you'll win the series for the second time in a row against a Clem that has been looking otherwise unstoppable. So let's see if he's going to be able to do that as we are loading into Golden Aura. And in the bottom right-hand side, as we warp in, it is from France and Team Liquid. Clem on the planche. Clem. Malem.
And on the upper left, in the red, looking to make all the Terran fans sad and playing Despacito. It's Wayne. Which was the most glorious meme parody music video that OG TV put out when they were still together. Going into Katowice 2021. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So well done.
Yeah. The Despacito implementation.
Yeah.
Very well done.
Big fan.
Big fan. I mean, that song Despacito, it was really like too overplayed. I feel like it's
But Despacito, not overplayed.
Not
Fantastic.
overplayed for sure. Yeah. Well deserved.
So looking back to that game too, Cats, we talked about it a little bit, but that was the Clem that we're used to seeing. It just muscle, winning fights, just not allowing the Zerg to take the fight that they want, and just 8 racks winning the game. So now that we're getting into that again in this game 3, it's a Reaper expand. It's 16, 18, 17 coming out of Wayne. This very standard TVZ. What do you want to see from Wayne? How does he change this up? I understand the desire to go mutas again. Maybe he still had an opportunity because just with playing around it, certainly don't take that fight in the choked out position off creep. Don't lose your 4th base. Is that enough? Is this still a kind of a valid idea against this just heavy Clem aggression? Or do you want to see something else?
I think so. I like the speed at which he has been getting muted because, again, like you can punish your opponent on the other side of the map, and Clem is a very aggressive player. So if you punish your opponent on your side and then go for the counter offense, that can be a viable plan, a plan that can be replicable. It's not like Terrans have many openings that are not aggressive, right? And it's easy to forget how to play against the likes of a 2-hatch muta where you usually just want to be a little bit more defensive, secure your natural, secure your 3rd, and just play from there. So we'll see if Clem gets over aggressive. We'll see if Wayne goes for muta. You asked what I would like to see. I want to see infestors. Not gonna happen though, so I'll settle for muta. You're cool.
Yeah, this is a pretty greedy. Well, not even particularly greedy, but this is a build that is far more on the macro side coming out of Clem. It's Reaper expand. You get your 3rd base at like 220 or something. You get that started even before you get your starport. So. Oh, this is interesting, actually. Clem doing it a little differently. It's not an uncommon build, certainly not from, the top level Terrans, but Clem taking that TY 211, where you go, it's a 3CC 211, you build a couple Hellions because you got the room there, it hides the build a little bit, the 211, 30 seconds later on the map, but it still gives you that pressure, still gives you that opportunity. And again, I technically against this this fact that Wayne keeps playing mutas, I kind of like it, right? It gives you that heavier marine pressure than a 1-1-1 would be, and technically 2-base muta, early 3-hatch muta is really solid against a 3 command center play because marine stim, marine timings are slower. But by going this TY build, Clem kind of fixes some of those weaknesses against this muta idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially because normally of a 3CC, for example, we've seen Clem so many times just go into the Banshee route, which is something that you would have expected going up against Wayne. If you hadn't told me, if it was the last patch and you hadn't told me anything, I would say like, yeah, I mean, you need those Banshees. Wayne could hit you with a Roach timing, and then you would straight up probably just die off of this opening that Clem is going for. But instead, he is playing the series and the player, and I love to see that, right? He is definitely adapting, and he's definitely saying, yeah, I need more Marines for the Muta if I'm going to be greedy. And it also delays his potential attack pre-Muta, if that's what you're anticipating. But again, I think that can be a nice thing, because those first two medevacs are very susceptible to the Muta and then the counter attack to follow. So I really, really like this option for Clem. But with that all said, Wayne hasn't been going for Muta. He has been going for mad macro here. Double upgrades to start, and just kind of playing completely different as well. So he is also making adaptations that on paper put him in a pretty decent spot here. 3 base should be a fourth coming up soon.
Yeah, we could see him go and play the kind of the 3-hatch Muta, 3-4 hatch Muta that Serral really likes, where you still you still get your upgrades on time for the Ling Bane. You still put yourself in a nice position that way. And that allows you to just massively scale your Ling Bane power if you need to against early aggression. But you also get the Spire, and it's slower. It's not this very quick Muta idea that Wayne's been using 2 times in a row. But it still has that power. It still has that opportunity. It's just a lot safer.
Yeah, for sure. It's like less all-in-y, more about like the harassment and stuff like that. I personally wouldn't be surprised to see a Hydra then being dropped when the lair finishes. I think it would be sensible, because now you're going to be playing defense much later in the game, so those Muta lose effectiveness as there is larger clumps of Marines, but they can still be used if you have enough of a Ling Bane base setup, and he does have 1-1 coming as well. So pumping out a lot of links at the moment is Wayne, and Baning speed as well gets started right away from that there. So.
Key thing to point out as well, you talk about what's this going to be. Well, it's only 3 gas right now from Wayne, so this is probably not going to be Muta plays. Instead, you see Hydrogen go down eventually, but for now, I mean, this is a lot of pressure coming out of Clem. The Lings, they're filtering forward past the Queens. That is just never going to be a good fight, but in the other side, Run By gets nothing here whatsoever. And now Wayne, he's dying on both sides. His Run By doesn't get much. Here, Clem getting on top of the Queens right now. They don't have enough energy anymore. 1-1, not done yet, but Clem picks up out into the main base now. He knows he's gotten damage done here. He's killed Queens. He's sucked out energy out of them. And there still has to be more, but 1-1's done now. The Lings fight this a little bit better than they otherwise would, and that will finally force Clem back.
Yeah, finally, indeed. And I mean, you do need some sort of answer for the medevacs to some degree. Like, I still would love to see a Hydra then on the side of Wayne, but at the moment he is just focused on economy, really low gas count, so I don't blame him for this. He is going for Ling Bane predominantly and just trying to stave off this stage of the game, just trying to set up his economy as best as he can. Queen will attempt at getting focused fire down. There is no transfuses available, like you were pointing out earlier as well. And Wayne does have a contingency of links in case there is a run by, but has to react to this. Can't allow that hatchery to take too much more damage. Clem focus fires a couple of the Banelings on the way out, and now there's Hellions here to join the fray as well. Things definitely looking good for Clem, but it can turn in the turn of a dime with a Baneling connection, which does end up happening, but not to its full extent.
No, that was still a pretty solid connection. Is Clem, by the way, behind this, he's got his 4th base on the way. This is not, wow, I'm going to go kill you right now. This is not the 8 racks that he's been playing earlier quite often. Here's now. Banelings will get, again, really solid connections. But Clem is expanding behind this. It's committed pressure. It is what Clem is known for. But again, he's not trying to end the game right now. If he does, that'd be great. He's not there yet.
Yeah, Infestation Pit on the way as well on the side of Wayne, so maybe looking for some sort of transition into Ultras. I would not mind it if he gets a couple of Infestors just for fungal now that you don't need to invest the extra resources and time into Pathogen Glands. As these Queens are going to get caught off position here a little bit out in the open with no creep. The Widow Mine is pretty good to the Lings in the front. The next Widow Mine is going to get taken down by the Banelings, and the units of Clem are picked up in the medevac. So I'm a little bit surprised that Wayne doesn't choose to follow through and chase those, because there's going to be weakness whenever Clem does unload, which he does manage to do fully now. So he gets to stay and kill off a couple of Banelings, but a couple of good connections still from Wayne. Still, it's Clem that continues to pull ahead with wonderful macro behind all of this.
Wonderful macro, wonderful micro as well. But now the entire army is pretty much in the medevacs there. So this fourth base of Clem is not allowed to exist, not for a time. And I really like this move out of Wayne, understanding where the strengths and the weaknesses of the Terran are. So he's going to try to snowball this, I think. Two Widowmines don't find much of anything. Bainley's leading here.
Nothing at all. Wow.
Bio's overstimmed.
Is he doing it? Oh my god, this Widowmine all that stands in between, and actually it does more damage to Clem than it does to Wayne. Wayne is breaching through right now. All of the SCVs in the natural are going to be exposed. If he wants the SCVs in the third, he can take them as well. This is looking now incredible for Wayne. Don't let the supply deceive you. This is such a dangerous position for Clem, who tucks back into the main, does manage to snipe the Bainley that could have been his death. And now with some Widowmines being set up, maybe he can push this off, but it is a wonderful little bit of momentum there for Wayne, who sets Clem back to 46 workers after killing 30 of them, establishes his 5th base in the process. If he can just defend now, he will be in an incredible position as his hive finishes.
One problem for Wayne, though, he is kind of all in off this. He's only got 66 drones. His economy is solid. He's on 5 bases, but he's really missing that drone count that he needs. So really knocking that down out of Clem, knocking him down 20, 30 SCVs was not only a good thing, it was necessary. Otherwise, it's a big Widowmine. And from the moment right now, but Wayne's just going to try to do it again here. Again, Widowmine, massive shots right now, and Wayne can't do this anymore. He's got it back.
Oh, no.
Well, you know what?
Look at the supply.
We just watched a man die, cats.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Ultra Cavern on the way there now, but yeah, that was a horrible overcommitment from Wayne there. And I was gonna say, like he's not really all in because it's the drone count is relative to Clem's SCV count, right? And he made enough of a dent that he was in a fantastic position to just keep producing units and just continue to hold that relatively low economy and push it forward towards the late game, towards his Ultra. And then when you get Ultra, you probably have a pretty strong timing. But as it stands, Clem kind of stabilizes on the back of killing those units, on the back of remaking his own SCVs, and Wayne doesn't really have the time or attention to do that anymore because he has to remake units. He can no longer easily make drones or save up for Ultras for a stronger timing because he lost so much on the other side.
Is this Widowmine? Yeah, it's burrowed. Okay. It doesn't look burrowed outside of this third base. Kind of weird. Anyway, Clem on the left side. You're right. At this point, his army is so big that he can be really in 2 places at once here. Widowmine, a little bit better, much better drags coming out of Wayne in this game, in this engagement at the very least, but Bailey's getting targeted down for the time being. Nice hold there out of Wayne, actually. That was a bit of a scary situation off creep, but he drags the Widowmines, he splits against them properly, and drops the main base, though. I'm trying to snipe some queens, cut down on this production a little bit. Not finding it, though.
Yeah, Clem's gonna go towards the edge here so that he can easily maneuver. He will get out with most of those Marines. And he is pushing with a massive force through the middle of the map towards one of Wayne's last remaining bases. The Ultralists are here, doesn't have Kindness plating just yet, so they are pretty targetable at the moment. The Widowmines do find some decent connections there at the front. And Clem wants to maybe try to make something happen before the upgrade kicks in. The Ultra is isolated for a little bit there, and it will take half of its HP damage worth as the Banings are now looking to connect to the Marines, but they will be easily evacuated this time around. Now Clem needs to look for a transition, 4 Marauders at a time. Would love to obviously see Liberators. Mines are still going to be okay against Ultras, but Liberators are really the biggest counter, or at least enough Marauders in these small numbers. I think with this, at least Wayne buys himself a little bit of time to try to stabilize.
I mean, Kat, this is an incredible timing from Wayne right now. He's got 3-3. He's got Adrenal. Kindness plating is done. This is the strongest this army's going to be. It's only +2. It's only 2-2 for Clem. He's got +3 halfway done. But you can't lose Ultras like that. You have to have the full complement of your army together here. If Wayne can make this timing happen, this is how he wins the game. But he's got to actually bring his army together. He's got to knock these bases down. He's got to find the value. And for right, it's a little sloppy. He's not bringing it together, not just yet. He's not fighting the army all at once. So he's just taking damage. Clem is doing such a good job here, playing with the ramp, playing with the chokes there, not giving Wayne the time. And on the other side, it's 4 Marines. Doesn't really matter all that much. He's not going to get a ton. But Wayne can't lose this Ultra. If he had hit this timing and had his entire army together and maybe attacked into the third, it would have been a hard thing for Clem to stop. But as it stands, he's just dead. does not happen. Clem holds on. He gets the damage he needs. And despite Vanya, or despite Wayne being incredibly upset